So recently, there's been an influx of people asking about their horses who were rushing, whether it was to the pasture, whether it was rushing home on a trail ride, whether it was rushing from the arena they were riding in, going back to the barn. And this is, one of the things where people so easily get fixated on the unwanted moment or the horse's peak stress levels or his peak dramatic response or defensiveness or dangerous behavior or so on. And it has nothing to do with addressing the horse with during his peak moments. Okay. So let's just put that to the side for a moment. And the analogy that I typically use when I'm explaining to people that it's not about the peak moment of unwanted behavior is a car. And I always ask people, would you get in a car if there was no steering wheel or brakes? And they go, well, no, of course not. We would crash. And I go, okay, so what is the difference when you're willing to get on a 1,000 pound prey emotional animal when your steering most of the time is ineffective, even when you're not out somewhere, new or different or so on, and when rarely do your brakes work effectively? And they go, well, what are you talking about? And I say, well, when you go ahead and lead your horse, or let's say you're walking him out to turn out or you're bringing him back to the barn, you're just on the ground. How many times does it take to redirect his thought? Do you ever even think about redirecting his thought? Or are you just walking off and dragging him behind you? If he's anticipating going back into the stall or maybe going out to turn out, does it ever feel like he's rushing and you can't slow him down or you have to contain him with a lot of strength or hanging on the lead rope type of scenarios? Notice if you cannot change his thought and if you cannot influence a change in his energy, just when you're in a safe, we'll say non-stressful place, such as at home, in the pasture, around the barn area, wherever it might be, then why would you expect that as the horse is in an environment that is unfamiliar or maybe has lots of stimulus, distraction, another group of horses you're riding with, scary things happening in the world around you, why would you suddenly expect that your steering and brakes will work? And people will stop and they'll go, but it's not about that. I mean, he's perfect at home. And I find a lot of times when people are telling me that their horse is listening great, and then all of a sudden, somewhere like a trail ride, he's suddenly not. To me, that's an indicator that the human has never really been mentally present. And a lot of people might get offended by me saying that, but the reality is it's true. Most of the time when people are going out on a trail ride, they're thinking of it as an escape. They're thinking of it as social hour. They're busy mentally engaging with their friends or catching up on the latest whatever, and they're not paying attention to the horse. They're not helping the horse. They're not supporting the horse. And part of why they're not helping and supporting the horse is because they haven't previously established a way in which they communicate to support and address when the horse is showing a minor degree of concern, a minor degree of distraction, a minor degree of a little bit of hurry, a little bit of rush. And so, because they can ride it out or survive or sneak through these other moments that don't feel that bad, that don't feel that scary, they just keep going. They don't actually address it. They don't take it as an indicator that that is a symptom. It's not the issue, but it's a symptom that that horse is mentally not with them. And if they do try and we'll say typically when the horse rushes, people want to pull back, they want to hold the horse back, or they put on stronger equipment, the old bit isn't working, or let's put on, things to keep the horse's head cranked down, or whatever it might be. That's all a quick fix. That's all a band-aid. You're not actually addressing the root cause because the horse's body moving quickly isn't the issue. It's that his brain is not available to hear, address, believe, or feel supported by you, and therefore his brain is getting ahead of his body and his body's trying to catch up. So the next time you feel your horse hurrying or rushing, it doesn't even have to be on a group trail ride. It could just be walking out to the pasture. You need to take that as a big red flag and put value to it. You need to stop and slow down and go, okay, how many times have I walked my horse out to the pasture and it seems like it's, he's anticipating sooner and faster and this and that. And this is where the human filter of emotions, oh, he's just excited. Oh, he's just enthusiastic. Oh, he's just being stubborn. No, he's insecure and defensive about how the communication is happening. And therefore he's mentally rushing to anticipate what's going to happen next. Whether it's to the pasture, whether it's in the trail ride, and he's trying to get back to the barn, doesn't matter the location, doesn't matter if you're on the ground, doesn't matter if you're in the saddle, you have missed something. So you need to go back, you need to refine. Can you direct that horse's thought? Can you redirect that horse's thought? When he becomes fixated, can you redirect that horse's thought, drain the tension in his body, help him not be defensive and hurried in his behavior, and look for those moments where he can mentally process based on your input, meaning is he licking, is he chewing, is he breathing, is he blinking, is he sighing? all of these different ways. Is his body deflating from looking like a perhaps giraffe or very pretty horse moment to, coming back down to his normal size? If you are unable to influence a change initially when it's a minor degree of mental concern or mental distraction or fixation or a slight physical resistance, then why would you think at peak stress levels he's going to suddenly listen to you? You're not going to be seen as supportive. And in fact, he's probably going to react more defensively towards your aids, which is why in the times of peak stress, most people go passive because they don't feel like they can help the horse. And they're right, because they haven't initially prioritized readdressing that foundation and if there's any holes in it. Something to consider next time you head out. Look for quality, not just task accomplishment. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.